Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. Are you a real watch collector? This is a video just for the sake of argument. It's something that I touched upon during one of my random watch safari videos, and I thought it would be fun to discuss it a bit further. So, to me, a collector is someone who just adds, accumulate by the numbers series of something. When I was a kid, every time I could get my hands on a key ring, I would add it to my collection, and it was easy because it cost nothing, and very often people give them to you for free, and I still have them. Later on, I bought a lot of guitars, and sometimes I had like 7, 8 different Gibson Les Paul standards. So to to someone who doesn't really know much about instruments, they're all the same, and definitely there was some collecting going on there. And then I cut down once I found the ones I really enjoyed playing, and so there's something usable into that type of collecting. Unlike the people who collect stamps and need to have every stamp produced, I don't know, in Hong Kong between 85 to 89, or all the special stamps produced in Eastern Europe in the 40s. They don't really, they're not going to use them, right? They're not going to post them, so there's not really any use for those, and that's an important difference between collecting watches, guitars, and collecting things that don't really have or like art, for example, don't really have any specific use. It's just something that you enjoy owning, looking at, but you're not gonna use it for anything really. So to me, yeah, collecting is something you do by the numbers. And when you look at Hodinky talking watches, you see great collectors who've been collecting for 40 years. All the Rolex bubble backs when they didn't cost as much as today, or were looking for one of one Pateks, which were always expensive. But in that case, usually these guys are millionaires, and I can tell you, if I was a billionaire, I would be an extremely distinguished, extremely well known collector. Unfortunately, I'm not, and most of us are not, so we have to do some arbitrage, and therein lies one of the main issues. So collecting Seiko files, for example, is something I've been doing, and I don't have any problem accumulating those, and it's great fun just to own them. And once in a while, I take a look at them, put them on the wrist, and I don't really wear them. And I think that is true collecting. But for the core of my more expensive timepieces collection, I would say it has become more of a selection, more of an assortment, akin to my wardrobe at home, especially because I started buying more expensive watches, and there's always a limit to how much money you can put in those. Of course, you have also the issues of servicing the watches, keeping them in good conditions, the risk of putting too much money in it, and that's all relative to your income, of course. Again, if you're a millionaire, it's not the same problem. But yeah, it is similar to my collection is more of a selection, like my wardrobe. I don't look at my clothes thinking I have a collection of clothes. I have a selection of the clothes I need to get through the week, through the year, different events, different situations, going on a holiday, going for a dressier event, going to the office, casual for the weekend. But that's not a collection. And very often, when I look at my collection and when I review you guys' collections, I look at it more into ticking the boxes. You gotta have a chronograph, a diver, a dress watch, this and that. Everything has to work together in harmony. And we call it a collection, but that's not really a collection. It's really a selection, an assortment for a specific purpose. Of course, the people who don't know much about watches, they look at us and they say, "Yeah, you have more than one, more than two. Then you have a you have a collection." But once you get into this rabbit hole, you see it in a very different way, right? And it evolves over the years. And as soon as you look at the collection, we watch aficionados put all those things in boxes. Okay, he's got the Rolex for this purpose. He's got the Zenith for that purpose, and everything makes sense to us. While people who don't know watches might think that, oh, that's an extensive collection. Why don't you just have one? Speaking of one, some people say, I have one. This is a collection of one. Talking about a watch, for example, if I just had my Rolex Sea Dweller, it covers everything I needed to. I need a watch to cover, but you can't call that a collection. I mean, do you call a collection when you have just one car, or even two cars, like a sports and a family car or an SUV, for example? That's not a collection. It's just your favorite, and you put as much money as you could into that. Allocated to that car, or those two or three cars maybe. And so it's the same for the watch. That's not really a collection to me. Really, collecting is you buy everything that in a series. It can also be buying everything that's new, or maybe an old watch, but you've just discovered it, and always be on the lookout to buy something. And I've done that very much. But at this point, I've sold more watches than I still own, and yeah, I've added a lot of things that really looked, and it looked more like collecting indeed for a while. But now I am pulled by the other way. I think a lot of us feel those two pulls. One is to add everything that's new, everything that you discover, everything that's exciting, everything that you don't yet own. And I think that's really more collecting. And but the other force that's pulling me, that's pulling a lot of us, is to reduce for the reasons I've mentioned, the service cost, the storage, but also to feel more harmony, and often less is more into watch collecting, because it is something we collect to use. I think people you see on Hodinkee who collect 50 bubble back Rolex watches, they don't buy them to use them. They tend to wear the same one or two watches on a daily basis, but the collection is something separate. And yeah, if you can afford doing that, I can afford doing it with Seiko 5s. There is room to have your usable watches, your usable selection, and then on the side to have a specific collection following a certain theme, which can change over time. You know, you might want to sell all your Submariners from the 80s and go into a different endeavor. But yeah, the force that is pulling me at this point the most is this will to have to do more with less, and most importantly to focus on the more beautiful pieces, the one that have the perfect 39 millimeter size, that are slimmer, that have a beautiful style, that are reliable and come on a great bracelet. This is the things that I like, and yeah, some people will still see it as a collection. I see it more like a selection. Tell me, what about you? How do you feel about this subject? It doesn't matter at all. You know, it doesn't matter in any way, shape, or form. This is all fun luxury. But I thought it would be nice to discuss it, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye bye.